Have you ever been in a relationship with a man who seems distant, confusing, or emotionally unavailable, even though you know he cares about you? Maybe he says he loves you, yet his actions don't always match his words. Perhaps he pulls away when things get serious, makes jokes when emotions surface, or avoids conversations about the future. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many women find themselves struggling to understand a man's emotional behavior, wondering if he truly cares or if he's just not interested. The truth is, a man's fear of his own feelings can create subtle, hidden behaviors that are easy to miss but have a huge impact on relationships. Understanding these hidden signs is crucial because they reveal what's really going on beneath the surface. When a man is deeply afraid of his emotions, it's not necessarily a lack of love or attraction. It's a defense mechanism. Emotional fear can come from past heartbreak, rejection, childhood experiences, or simply the fear of being vulnerable. This fear often makes him act in ways that seem contradictory. He may care deeply yet appear cold, long for closeness yet maintain distance, or express affection in one moment and withdraw in the next. These behaviors are his mind's way of protecting him from emotional pain while trying to maintain connection. Recognizing these patterns early can help you navigate the relationship with clarity and understanding. It allows you to distinguish between genuine disinterest and fear-driven behavior. You'll start noticing why he changes topics when emotions come up, why he avoids talking about love or the future, or why he relies on humor when things get serious. These subtle signals are often easy to overlook, but once you understand them, the pieces start to fit together. Suddenly, his confusing actions make sense, and you can respond in ways that encourage trust and emotional openness instead of pushing him away. In this video, we're going to reveal 15 hidden behaviors of a man who is deeply afraid of his feelings. Each behavior will give you insight into his emotional state, why he acts the way he does, and how to navigate the relationship wisely. Whether you're trying to understand your partner, improve communication, or simply make sense of his mixed signals, this video will provide you with the clarity you need. By the end, you'll be able to see past the surface-level actions and recognize the real reason behind his behaviors, his fear of vulnerability and deep emotions. So, if you've ever felt confused, frustrated, or unsure about a man's actions in your relationship, stay tuned. Understanding these hidden behaviors can transform the way you interact with him, help you build emotional intimacy, and give you the tools to handle his fear with patience, empathy, and insight. This isn't about changing him. It's about understanding him, seeing the love he may be too afraid to express, and navigating the relationship with confidence and clarity. 1. He jokes or laughs whenever the conversation gets too emotional. When a man is deeply afraid of his feelings, humor often becomes his defense mechanism. Laughter and jokes serve as shields to protect him from vulnerability. Anytime a conversation moves toward emotional depth, like discussing fears, past traumas, or love, he might crack a joke or laugh awkwardly. This is not because he finds the situation genuinely funny, but because it helps him create distance. By turning a serious moment into a light one, he avoids facing his own emotions and the intensity of intimacy. Over time, this behavior can make his partner feel like he is not emotionally present. It can also confuse people around him because humor can mask his discomfort so well that it seems natural, even charming. The problem is, behind the laughter, he's struggling with insecurity, fear of rejection, or the worry that expressing his emotions could make him appear weak. If you notice this pattern, it's a sign that he may care deeply but is not yet ready to confront his vulnerability. Recognizing it early helps to approach the relationship with patience and understanding, rather than frustration. 2. He suddenly pulls away when things start feeling serious. A man afraid of his feelings often retreats when a relationship becomes emotionally intense. This pulling away is a protective instinct. When intimacy deepens, the pressure to open up and commit may trigger anxiety. It's not necessarily a reflection of his love or interest, but a fear of losing control over his emotions. He may start spending less time with you, becoming distant in conversations, or withdrawing physically. This sudden distance can feel confusing or even hurtful, but it is his way of creating safety for himself. The fear may stem from past experiences, emotional trauma, or personal insecurities that make him reluctant to embrace vulnerability. Partners often misinterpret this behavior as disinterest or rejection, but it is crucial to understand that fear of emotional exposure is at the root. Patience, reassurance, and creating a non-judgmental space can help him feel safe enough to gradually reconnect. Observing patterns, like withdrawal after emotional discussions, can help you gauge his comfort level and respond in ways that nurture trust rather than trigger further retreat. 3. He avoids deep conversations about love or the future. A man who fears his feelings often avoids discussions that require emotional investment. Topics like future plans, commitment, or expressions of love can feel threatening. Avoidance is a defense strategy. Engaging in such conversations forces him to confront emotions he may not be ready to process. Instead, he may steer discussions toward neutral topics, humor, or superficial plans, deliberately keeping the relationship in a safe, controlled space. This avoidance is often accompanied by subtle excuses, deflections, or vague responses. For his partner, this can feel frustrating, as it signals a lack of transparency or unwillingness to engage deeply. However, it is crucial to understand that avoidance is rarely about disinterest. It is about fear. Deeply emotional conversations trigger anxiety, past trauma, or unresolved insecurities, leading him to retreat. Recognizing this pattern can help partners provide gentle encouragement and create a secure environment where he feels safe to express himself over time. Pressuring him too quickly may worsen his fear, while patience, empathy, and clear communication can gradually help him overcome avoidance and open up. 4. He acts cold even when he clearly cares. Emotional fear often manifests as coldness. A man who feels deeply but fears intimacy may appear indifferent, unresponsive, or distant even when he genuinely cares. This cold exterior functions as a protective barrier. By maintaining emotional distance, he avoids confronting his own vulnerability. Actions like minimal texting, brief replies, or lack of physical affection may mislead a partner into thinking he is disinterested. The truth is, his care exists, but expressing it feels risky. He may fear rejection, emotional exposure, or the pressure of reciprocation. Cold behavior can also be situational. Moments of warmth might be interspersed with sudden detachment. Recognizing this as a fear-based defense, rather than a lack of affection, is essential. Responding with patience and consistent reassurance can help him feel safe enough to lower the barrier. Over time, trust and emotional security may allow the warmth behind the coldness to surface more naturally. 5. He changes the topic when feelings are mentioned. When emotions surface, a man afraid of his feelings often redirects the conversation. Changing the topic is a subtle form of avoidance. He may feel trapped, exposed, or anxious when asked to express emotions, so he diverts attention to neutral or lighter subjects. This pattern often occurs without conscious intent. It is a reflexive protective mechanism. Partners may notice abrupt shifts from discussions about commitment, love, or vulnerability to unrelated topics, humor, or work. While it can feel dismissive, it is not always a reflection of lack of care. It signals fear of confronting deep feelings, fear of judgment, or uncertainty about how to communicate emotional truths. Recognizing this behavior allows partners to respond with patience rather than frustration, gently encouraging dialogue without forcing it. Over time, creating a safe environment where emotional expression is normalized can help him gradually engage with these discussions without fear, fostering a more open and authentic connection. 6. He focuses only on logic instead of emotions. Men who fear their emotions often rely on logic to navigate relationships. By emphasizing rational thinking, planning, or problem-solving, he distances himself from emotional vulnerability. When asked about feelings, he may provide calculated responses or focus on practical solutions rather than discussing what he truly feels. This over-reliance on logic is a coping mechanism. Emotions feel unpredictable, overwhelming, or threatening. Logic offers control and safety, whereas emotional expression feels risky. Partners may perceive this as detachment or coldness, but it is a shield against the anxiety triggered by intimacy. Understanding this pattern helps partners approach emotional conversations with empathy, framing discussions in ways that feel safe rather than confrontational. Over time, reassurance and consistent emotional safety can encourage him to balance logic with authentic emotional expression, gradually revealing the depth of his care and feelings. 7. He sends mixed signals that leave you confused. Fear of feelings often leads to inconsistent behavior. A man may oscillate between warmth and distance, attention and neglect, making his intentions confusing. Mixed signals are usually not manipulative but fear-driven. When emotions rise, anxiety can trigger retreat. When the fear temporarily subsides, he may reconnect. This inconsistency stems from internal conflict between desire and fear, love and vulnerability. Partners often misinterpret this as indecision or lack of commitment, when it is a reflection of emotional struggle. Mixed signals test patience and resilience, requiring careful observation of patterns over time. Recognizing this behavior as fear-driven rather than intentional helps maintain perspective. Gentle consistency, clear boundaries, and reassurance can reduce anxiety, helping him stabilize behavior and gradually communicate more reliably. 8. He keeps his distance even when he wants to be close. A man who fears intimacy often desires connection, but maintains a safe distance. He may long for closeness yet struggle to bridge the gap because vulnerability feels threatening. Emotional closeness risks exposure, judgment, or dependence, triggering retreat. This push-and-pull behavior can be confusing for partners, as his actions contradict his intentions. Distance may be physical, emotional, or both. He may engage in affectionate gestures selectively, then withdraw suddenly, reflecting internal conflict. Understanding this as fear-driven, rather than rejection, allows partners to provide reassurance and patience. Gradual emotional safety, consistency, and empathetic communication can help him reconcile desire and fear, fostering authentic closeness over time. 9. He pretends the relationship is not a big deal. Minimizing a relationship or its emotional significance is common for men afraid of feelings. By downplaying importance, he reduces pressure on himself and avoids confronting vulnerability. Statements like "it's just casual" or "don't worry about it" serve as shields. While he may genuinely care, acknowledging emotional stakes feels risky. This behavior protects against potential heartbreak, rejection, or emotional exposure. Partners may feel undervalued or confused, but the underlying cause is fear, not disinterest. Recognizing this pattern encourages empathy and patient communication, gradually helping him express authentic emotions and acknowledge the relationship's significance. 10. He gets uncomfortable when you show too much affection. Displays of affection can trigger discomfort for men who fear feelings. Hugs, kisses, or verbal affirmations may feel overwhelming or exposing. He may stiffen, withdraw, or deflect attention to humor or unrelated topics. This reaction is not lack of love but fear of vulnerability. Emotional closeness forces him to confront feelings he is unprepared to manage. Over time, gentle consistency, reassurance, and respecting his pace can help him accept affection and reciprocate authentically, building trust and emotional connection. 11. He disappears for a while after emotional moments. After emotionally charged interactions, he may pull away to process internally. Silence or distance is a coping mechanism, allowing him to regain composure and protect against feeling exposed. Partners may interpret this as rejection, but it is fear-driven. Understanding this pattern encourages patience and space, allowing him to return without pressure. Over time, open communication about this tendency can prevent misunderstandings and support emotional growth. 12. He hides his vulnerability behind humor or sarcasm. Humor and sarcasm are common shields for men afraid of feelings. By masking vulnerability, he avoids exposure and protects his emotional state. This may manifest as teasing, playful insults, or jokes at serious moments. Partners may perceive it as immaturity or deflection, but it reflects underlying fear and discomfort. Recognizing this allows for patient engagement, creating opportunities for authentic sharing and emotional safety. 13. He acts overly independent to protect himself. Excessive independence is often a sign of emotional fear. By relying solely on himself, he reduces the risk of disappointment, rejection, or vulnerability. Even in relationships, he may avoid asking for support or delegating emotional responsibility. While independence is valuable, overcompensation can prevent intimacy. Recognizing this pattern allows partners to respect boundaries while gently encouraging shared emotional experiences. 14. He watches you carefully but rarely expresses what he feels. Men afraid of feelings often observe partners closely, noting reactions and preferences, yet seldom express inner emotions. He gathers information to manage interactions safely without risking vulnerability. This behavior can appear mysterious or distant, but it demonstrates care and attentiveness hidden behind fear. Understanding this helps partners interpret subtle signs of affection and patiently encourage verbal and emotional sharing. 15. He waits for you to make the first emotional move. Fearful men often rely on partners to initiate emotional connection. By waiting for the first move, he minimizes exposure and risk. This can create an imbalance, leaving the partner to lead in vulnerability. Patience, reassurance, and proactive but gentle emotional engagement help him feel safe to reciprocate. Over time, this encourages mutual emotional sharing, breaking the cycle of fear-driven passivity.